Charles Leiter passed away very suddenly. The papers are missing.
I prefer to do things by the book.
Doctor, he's not a well man.
We're going to perform the autopsy. We will perhaps do it, probably tonight.
Cecil Hunter. Anybody heard of this chap? He done the painting here.
I'm Anthony Flinders. I'm a history major.
What is it that we are missing? I know that you would see it, for you are the expert librarian.
Witchcraft, you know. It's all a load of nonsense, really, these trials.
It's the concept of this Atlantic City breakaway and desperate acts.
Oh, the gambling man.
This man has sought to monetize his discovery.
You ever heard of a Hibbs Roadhouse?
Anthony is, he hounded Dr. Leiter night and day. I would be cautious involving him in what you're doing.
Kirk here had an encounter in the morgue.
And what was the eyes like? Can I ask about the eyes?
I said I don't want to talk about it, goddammit.
Coca-Cola with a twist.
There are two men sat in the car. They're clearly watching what's going on.
In which case, I pull my mask completely off. And I just light a cigarette and stare at the car.
Maybe it wasn't a heart attack after all.
So what was it?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out.
I knew something was up because they wouldn't let me see the body.
So, Lucy, what you mean is that he got these rare books and then engaged talented artists to make forgeries, to make copies of them?
Oh, the other guy's real sweet. Abner Wick.
Do you imagine if someone finds out they're double-crossed? They would not be happy.
You gotta be real careful with these guys. They mean business. There's a Mr. Oakes and a Mr. Shaughnessy. My hearing's not so good as it used to be, Mr. Oakes. Did he just threaten us? And Mr. Oakes just stares at you. If you change your mind about showing us that body, I'm sure we can come to some kind of arrangement.
Where would we contact you?
Like I say, I think we'll meet again.
The Apocalypse Players present Crimson Letters. A Call of Cthulhu 7th edition scenario by Alan Bligh. Starring Joseph Chance as Dr. Jonas Steinweg, Danann McAleer as Professor Duckworth, Dan Wheeler as Kirk Sleep, P.I. With our special guests, Doug McAndrew as Dr. Althea Montrose and Mike Perceval-Maxwell as P.J. Mahoney. The Keeper of Arcane Lore is Dominic Allen. Chapter 5, A Pause for Thought.
So we're all hanging around the back door of the club. Is that where we're?
The Hibbs Roadhouse.
There's also, if I remember correctly, several Philly cheesesteaks going cold in the bar.
Yes, yeah, there are. And a lot of milkshakes.
If we wanted to chow down while discussing what to do next. I guess it makes sense if after our conversation with Lucy, we're the ones who sort of head back out onto the street to meet the others.
Yeah.
I think standing opposite Sleep in the rain, I say, it's raining. I hadn't noticed. I find myself dangerously close to him, admiring his masculine scent. It's all this cock measuring, you see, that's been going on with the mob.
Yeah.
It's got Steinweg very confused. So perhaps we should go on and join the others and have a stiff drink.
That sounds like a pretty good idea to me. Let's take this inside.
And I will spring up the steps as only a 56-year-old
5'4",
5'4" army veteran can.
Yeah, so you're all gathered in the in this speakeasy saloon. There's no one here except Lucy because it's not open yet. She's sort of walked away and she busies herself cleaning glasses or whatever. Unless you've got anything else to say to her.
So I lower my already mumbly voice and say, so it sounds like Leiter owed quite a lot of dough to the mob. We're talking something like 11 big ones.
Wow.
Yeah, sounds like it. But
it sounds like he was making a fair bit on the side from this forgery racket. I guess that's how he was going to pay back the mob.
Forgery, you say?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
No, he was forging books and whatnot and so forth. He had that boy, the painting we saw in his office. Yeah, the boy that did that, he was in on it. And they were fencing it. Cecil Hunter, whatever.
Cecil.
Yeah. And they were fencing it to some guy Abnowick. I don't know what his first name is.
Well, maybe we should go and speak to this Abner Wick character.
Yes.
Yeah, well, he's got a store. It's called Unconsidered Sherry Trifles.
That's a great name. Now, listen, I gotta ask. I'm not an expert on documents. Is there a possibility, him being a forger, that these documents that appear to be of such great concern are themselves forgeries?
You ask a very good question.
I think you just broke my head. You think that the documents that have gone missing are not the genuine article?
I don't know. I'm asking a question. We're dealing with a supposed master forger, and there seems to be some commotion around some documents. Strikes me that there's a fair chance that forgery and documents are connected. Unless he's not forging documents, unless he's forging pieces of art. But that seems less likely. I don't know.
This is very interesting. The concept perhaps of maybe making a double set, a doppelganger of the actual set. Then you could potentially sell them to highest bidder, keep some things for yourself or for researchers.
I'll make multiple copies, sell them to multiple buyers on the sly.
I suppose.
I wonder if this predated his interest. It seems that perhaps he convinced the family to lend him the documents precisely so he could forge them. I wonder if it was to pay off the debt, or whether that debt has been accrued since, as a result of them going missing.
Well, we found a lot of cash in his office, didn't we? So,
yes.
I guess he was selling forged documents, trying to get together the money he owed, so he could pay the mob back.
11 G's, that's right.
And how do these gentlemen from the Atlantic City mob intend to pursue this debt? She's dead, gone.
Oh, in the usual manner, I would imagine.
They're keeping an eye.
Start with the fingers.
On ourselves, and, well, I certainly didn't anticipate getting tangled with organised crime within a few days of my arrival. I hope we're safe.
I'd rather be tangling with organised crime than with disorganised crime.
Disorganised crime, yeah, took the words out of my mouth. That's right. Now listen, I hear what you're saying. It sounds like the guys from the mob, maybe they don't fully believe that our man here is even deceased. They're keen to have a look at the body.
Yes, a due diligence on their part to satisfy themselves. The debt can be written off, no doubt.
So show them the body.
I don't know whether that'd be appropriate.
Well, just show them the body, and that'll get them off our backs.
Well, perhaps.
I'm inclined to agree.
Is there not a chance that that's a front? All they really want is access to the inner sanctums of the university, so they can try and steal enough to make back their debt? I mean, can we really allow organised criminals into Miskatonic?
Now, listen, I've been dealing with organised criminals for a long time, and I think PJ the same, and this would be the first time I heard of the mob making a heist on a university campus. It's
They're
any sense.
They're only interested in whatever they can make a buck out of. You know, if they think they're gonna make money out of it, they're interested. But they don't care about what's in the documents. They're just that their worth. That's the only thing that they care about.
Well, I suppose there is another autopsy at 8:00. I suppose, how would we contact them?
Well, I'm sure we could put out word somewhere.
What was the conversation we had with them? Did we let them know that there was going to be an autopsy at 8 o'clock? Did we leave it that we might see them there, or was that...
No, you said... they said, we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
And you said, well, how do we get in touch? And they said they would... They'll turn up.
It was very much that they will come to us.
Yeah.
But not in a good way.
And then the parting shot was, let us know if you change your mind about showing them this body.
I see. Well, perhaps that does make sense.
Yeah, so it sounds like they'll come to us. We got a bit of time, perhaps, to decide what call we want to make regarding the autopsy.
What time is it? Does anyone have a watch?
No, I don't wear a watch anymore.
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, I got a watch.
But would you mind looking at it for me?
Yeah, well, of course, it's only the afternoon, isn't it?
Yes, it's probably lunchtime.
That's why we ordered these Philly cheesesteaks, right?
Yeah, my stomach's rumbling. It's cheesecake's not going to eat itself.
Might I suggest that we make a visit to this Abner Wick character and see if he's got any more information about what the nature of the forgeries is? I was wondering,
detective, private detective asleep. Do you think the young lady is safe?
You sounded like a hypnotist there. Why do you guys do that, don't you? Private detective, sleep.
Feeling in a safe space.
The young lady. Oh, you mean the broad you were speaking to in here? Well,
I mean this young lady. How attractive is Miss Stone?
On a scale of 1 to 100.
That's a good question. Yeah, I can probably give you a number, can't I? Lucy Stone, I would say that... Oh,
she's smoking.
Wow. She's probably about as good... If it was out of 100 and you had to roll, a number of D6s and times it by 5, she's probably the highest you could get.
Wow.
And is she tall?
She's 9 out of 10.
What's she doing working in a cheap speakeasy? She should be on Broadway.
This is maybe
she's not an idiot either. She throws up very easily, though. She's
not tough of constitution.
She's average height.
Oh, so my height. Okay.
Maybe just above average.
Maybe she's a little bit taller than me. Excellent. Yeah. In which case, I'm already weak with desire for her. It's one of my many problems. And I say I'm very concerned for her safety, PJ. Mr. Sleep, private detective. It was suggested by Mr. And by the way, I'm not going to hold anything back about this interview we had with these soldiers outside.
Sure.
Mob soldiers. So I've said that they are Oakes and O'Shaughnessy.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Oakes and Mr. O'Shaughnessy have implied that they will be very unkind to her if they don't get to see the body or indeed get the money back. So it's not just us. And, I hate to say that, Doctor, but we have other people to consider as well.
Indeed. You would see the young wouldn't come to any harm from these reprobates. So,
well, how much do we think that was in the office there of the good professor?
Well, that was 1,000, I think. We were told.
So he's still a long way to go to get the money he owes them.
So he came back. Yeah, he came back from the trip to Atlantic City. And called in all of his debts. This is what one of his enemies tells us, so it is not necessarily a reliable witness, but I think I got the impression he was telling the truth. I think we all did. This Roach fellow, he was not to be trusted, we all agree. But so when Leiter comes back, and this is the position he found himself in. He gets 1,000 maybe, he's got another 10,000 to try and find.
I'm having something of a thought forming in my head, yeah. I'm thinking to myself, he's trying to make some money out of the forgery of documents. Maybe his partners have done a double cross on him. Maybe they got wind that he's got this document that he wants to make a copy of, so that he can make a goodly sum out of it to go towards paying them off back. And maybe these guys, what are their names now? Abnerwick and Hunter. Maybe they had a little aside conversation and say, take him out of the equation, and we can make a few bucks for ourselves.
Yes,
What do you
makes
think?
sense. And no one else has the motivation except for
I'll tell you what.
the family who've already lost it.
If this pair in the car were to get wind of their little scheme, I dare say they might think it an idea to pick up where Leiter left off as a way of continuing to cash in on it. So, I mean, I don't know this Hunter, but we should go to see them, certainly.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's
what these criminals do they not? They see people they can take advantage of, make easy money without getting their own hands dirty. Not that I know such things, of course, but, well.
Yeah, maybe they reckon they didn't need him anymore.
Yes, I agree. I think they're our best recourse before the autopsy this evening.
Make a very good point. I think that's wise.
I mean, the only other people who were desperate to get these papers that we know of would be our young student friend, but he wouldn't have been skulking about like a stranger if he'd got his hands on them, and the family are clearly missing them. That's part of the Dean's problem. So who else would have had motivation to steal them? No one that we know of.
Do we know where this Cecil Hunter, where his residence is?
Yeah, this is going to be my next question as well about the Cecil.
I'm sure we could find out from the university. They might have some idea, even though he was expelled.
Yes, what do they call it? Rusticated, isn't it? Is that the English term for it?
No, I think that's what he was doing, and that's why they kicked him out.
Oh yeah, getting a little bit rusty. Is that what you're saying?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, let's not draw too graphic a picture for the librarians amongst us.
Don't mind me.
Country matters, right? Country matters.
I don't know if it was in the country or in the city, but he was. He wasn't being a good boy.
That's like Hamlet, yes? Sleep, very clever, very lovely reference.
Oh, yeah, the Hamlet, yeah.
Country matters.
Yeah. Sleep. What dreams are going to come when you sleep? I don't know.
To be vicious.
I gotta pause for thought and give it a rub, I don't know. Maybe I get to sleep then.
It's a remarkably good summary, actually.
Hamlet couldn't decide what to do. Somebody kills your pop.
Oh, that this
you take
very fleshy flesh would melt.
Fleshy, melty flesh.
I think the doctor...
You ever seen flesh melt? It's not a pretty sight.
Dr. Steinweg takes out his little tin and he just rubs a little bit of powder in his gums, smartens his hair in the tin, using the tin lid, and then strolls over to the bar area. Is Miss Stone still there?
Yes, she's still cleaning glasses.
Well, actually, he turns back and says, do you think it is wise or unwise to enlighten Miss Stone of our awareness that she might be in danger?
I think
I suspect she's probably already aware.
Is able to fend for herself, believe you me. But yes, we should let her know if a threat has been made on her life, certainly. I'll come with you. Because I think that's very wise, Duckworth. Sense the horniness.
Do you?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I have a previous relationship with her, not like close, but I frequent the speakeasy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know her a bit.
I give sleep a gentle nudge with my elbow, and this I gotta see.
The two pickup artists.
Beauty and the Beast, right?
I think the doctor starts playing with the knob of his cane quite a lot. He starts to sort of twirl the knob of his cane round and round as he's approaching the bar, and then says, "So you wish to do the talking? I will simply look the gallant fellow in the background. If she can see me over the bar, which I suspect she can't." Maybe I'll just stand on my tippy toes.
My looks aren't much. I'll do the talking.
Oh, don't say that. You are a mirror to life, my friend.
Well, thank you.
The mask represents the opportunity to, let others show their own face. Is that not the case? Do you not find?
If you say so. I pull out my notebook and make a little note. Put it back in my pocket.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. That one is for free. It's the next one you pay for.
Thank you. Lucy, there were a couple of gentlemen outside. I say gentlemen. A couple of men outside, I think, were from Atlantic City. You may know this already, of course, but I wanted you to know that they were here. Of course, if you'd feel safer coming with us, you're more than welcome, but I don't think that's the case.
Where are you going to go?
Well, we're going to head back to the university and find out a couple of addresses. There's some people we need to talk to. But I can keep you informed on our progress. I think they were here about the money owed to them by Leiter, and they don't believe he's dead. So we're going to prove to them that he is. I'm afraid to say we will invite them to the autopsy. But it seems the only way to get them off our backs and your back, of course, as well. So I thought I'd just fill you in. It seemed only fair.
Okay. Well, thank you. And, yeah, hopefully, I just think, I gotta get out of here.
If you do feel that you have to leave, I beg your pardon, Dr. Steinweg, Dr. Jonas Steinweg. We didn't get to introduce myself. I didn't get to introduce myself to you earlier. Ms. Stone, if you do need somewhere to go, we are representatives of the Miskatonic University, and you would be very, very welcome in my rooms if you wish to go there for respite away from the issue. Or
equally, I'm sure we could find you your own rooms.
I look at Duckworth as if to say, really? In fact, I think he starts to mutter something out. I'm not sure the bursar would agree to that, really. You're giving out free rooms? I have to pay for mine. What? You don't pay for your rooms? Do you have tenure?
There's at least one student here who's going to be spending a few nights in the infirmary, so I imagine they've got some...
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, of course. But anyway,
You're both very sweet.
It is not a question of sweetness, it is a question of safety. Please, my...
Safety I'm not so worried about. It's money that's my problem.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
If I could get enough money, I could get out of here.
You mean for a ticket?
No, I mean like some money I could get away with.
I see. Unfortunately, the wage of a psychotherapist is not what it was. But yes, well, we'll talk about this later.
Well, as I say, should it come to a last port of call, come either to Dr. Duckworth or my rooms, Dr. Steinweg, and we will make sure that you are looked after. There is security on campus, always remember.
That guy, she says, pointing to PJ, in his Miskatonic security uniform.
He's tucking into a cheesecake.
We must not let appearances fool us, should we? We make for an unusual crowd, and yet they're not to be underestimated, my good lady. Anyway, I'm charmed. And he clicks his heels together in an old-fashioned, old-worldly way, raises his cane to his forehead, and turns smartly, narrowly avoiding a chair that he walks into. Just sort of looks slightly odd as he pulls away, but his 65 dexterity saves him.
As that happens, Duckworth has one of those moments where he seldom has, where he actually misses having a face, and you can't really roll your eyes through a porcelain mask or do any sort of expressions, so he just sort of taps on the bar and tips his head back a bit and walks off.
Rolls his glass eyes across the floor.
Snake eyes.
Well, I tell you what, while you are stood at the bar, can you give me a spot hidden roll?
Yeah.
This isn't something I could have seen before departure?
Yes, you can do one as well.
23 on a 56.
It's a 0-1.
Fucking hell.
So, obviously, I'm so taken with her that I'm desperately looking for some kind of piece of information.
Well, so you both succeeded there.
Yeah.
It's
Talk about underplaying it.
Blew it.
Yeah.
Underplay is 0-1.
I've wasted my best
You
roll.
succeeded, yeah.
Oh, sorry, you got a 0-1. Sorry, I was reading something. Fantastic. Well, in that case,
Congratulations.
How they die.
I was reading my book.
Are you still going?
You're still here.
Fantastic. So, Duckworth, Professor Duckworth, you feel something. It's almost like it's just a sort of weird feeling, like you're being watched. And when you look up, in fact, probably you both experienced this, you see the glasses on the wall behind her. They sort of... The light is very dim in here right now, but what light there is catches on them like eyes, like you're looking at a wall of eyes. It's quite unnerving, except on your 0-1, Steinweg, you look a bit closer and you see that every single one, the reflection in every glass looking at you, is the face of Charles Leiter, and he looks horrified. Can you give me a sanity roll?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
No sanity roll for Duckworth.
No.
You just sort of
Blech.
you just get this weird feeling like someone's just walked over your grave or something.
Yeah,
That's your
shiver.
special prize.
Or like something bad is about to happen. You get that sort of weird,
Yeah.
get the shivers.
Oh my god, I've done it. I've passed it. I forgot he's got really good sanity. Damn.
So you lose 1 point of sanity.
Okay.
Duckworth, you notice Steinweg is sort of suddenly like leaning, trying to lean across the bar and is staring at something. And at that moment, the telephone rings at the end of the bar, and Lucy goes, "Listen, you take care of yourselves. I know how to take care of myself. If you find a way for a dame to make a bit of money to get out of this town, then you let me know."
Yes.
And she goes over and answers the phone.
Excellent. I sort of turn to... my friend, are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost.
How funny you should say that. Yes, I suppose it is the common expression. Let us rejoin the others.
Yes.
As we're walking back, I think he continues, I have the strangest sensation then. I felt that I saw Leiter's face. This could be a monomania of something that I've missed. I've not been entirely forthcoming. Professor? Is it Professor Duckworth or Dr. Duckworth?
Well, Doctor. I'll take
Doctor.
Professor. I'm used to being misled.
Dr. Duckworth, I've not been entirely forthcoming with my investigations in Leiter's study. For a moment, I thought, it's the queerest of feelings, that there was something that I could see in the remainder of the mirror that was broken, and that strange melted edging of it that I did talk about, but I didn't confess that I thought that I saw a face in it. And now I think that I see another face. This is very strange, and I know it must sound particularly...
And
To you, it must sound absurd.
No, not at all. Was it the same face?
This is not a common complex of mine. This is not something I've been experiencing before. No.
Oh, no, I see.
No. This was... Leiter had a look of horror. Anyway, here are the others. Perhaps best we keep it just between the two of us at the moment.
Yes. Let's talk later.
Yeah, I might need analysis.
Yeah.
He says, and his eyes go distant and glazed, and you can see that slight edge of the coca that he's obviously...
And in the distance, you can just hear, hello? 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 Click. She hangs up. Carries on cleaning glasses.
Right, professors. If you've finished hitting on the broad at the bar, is it maybe time to get on with the case?
Yes.
Since Gallantry is dead, is it sleep? Fine. Onwards, ever onwards with your...
So we agreed we'll head to the university and find the address for our suspects?
I think that's next month.
Abner Wick fella.
Well, we could go and see Abner Wick. We've got his address.
We could.
Or we could split up, divide and conquer.
We could split up.
We will cause more trouble this way, yes?
Well, listen, I got to be honest. I don't know how welcome I'm going to be back at the university following my, let's call it an episode earlier.
No. Well, let's go and see Abner Wick, and then we'll decide how we play the evening.
Well, perhaps, you and me, Duckworth, we could go and see Wick. The others could head back to the university. I don't know. I just say, I might not be the most popular man on campus at the moment, so...
Someone who knows something about the trifles, the sherry trifles, should go to this Vic fellows. Is that you, PJ? Do you have an acquisitive mind for the items of wealth? And
I have a sweet tooth, if that's what you mean.
I think his trifles is this useless English way of using one word to mean 7 different things. It means the little items, doesn't it?
Well, perhaps indeed it would be best if I came along with you two if there was anything specific related to the case that this gentleman has in his shop.
Well, I'm more than happy to go back to the university and see what I can find there from the offices to see if I can find out where this fella Hunter has his rooms.
But wasn't he was sent down? He was sent down, wasn't he? His rooms are no longer there, but they will have the record. Could we not telephone?
They might have a forwarding address.
Yes.
Can we perhaps telephone for it? And then perhaps, PJ, you and I could go to the address that we are given, check it out. Unless, Mr. Sleep, you think you might be better equipped for such things.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe.
Let's do that. They have a telephone here at the bar. I'll ask if I can use it, and I'll see if I can speak to the office staff and see what if they can help us with that.
That way we avoid looking at the university for you, Mr. Sleep. And perhaps the 3 of us could be better placed investigating Mr. Vic.
I can't get used to the telephone. So miraculous invention. Saves a lot of time. A lot of toing and froing.
It is a marvel.
It's very true.
My day, you wanted to know somebody, and you wanted to know something, you had to go around to the house and ask them. These days, you just pick up the handset and you talk to the operator, and you put right through. Maybe only takes you a half an hour.
Yeah, no, it saves you a lot of investigation time, that's for sure.
These are the little bullets of the mind, are they not?
I don't know what you mean about bullets in the mind, but I know a guy got shot in the head once. Not a pretty sight.
No.
Not a pretty sight. Brains all over the wall behind him. Poor guy.
My only fear is that the children of today will grow up accustomed to such technology, and how will that affect them?
They won't know how to look things up in a book. And that's the truth.
They won't know how to run a reference library. And back when we were growing up, you'd cycle 20 miles just to tell a friend you'd seen a frog. And
cycle? You were lucky to have a bicycle. Well, you would have to walk.
Yes.
You seen a frog? You wanted to tell your pal about it? You had to walk.
No, you're quite right.
You go up to the house. You knock on the door. And his mother or his father would answer the door, and you'd have to introduce yourself.
Explain your intentions.
Yeah, and then maybe they let you in the house, or maybe your friend had come out, and then you could tell him about the frog that you seen.
Kirksleep's taking his revolver out and putting it in his mouth.
And then maybe the two of you could go back to the little lily pond and see if the frog was still there. And if it wasn't there anymore, that's just the whole day wasted.
Or you just visit your local library and read a vivid description of a frog.
Oh no, I wouldn't go to a library if I was looking for a frog.
Well, not all of us can enjoy birdies of nature.
Sleep is still indefinitely insane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, can I just
checking.
Gently sort of pull my cane over and just take the gun down?
Yeah. It was. I mean, he did do it, but it was more of a.
He's still got a sense of humour.
Yeah.
I think we are not being active enough for Mr. Sleep. I would very much like to hear about Dr. Montrose's growing up in Scotland, though. I can't imagine much walking or frogs was available. I've heard it's a very tough country.
Yeah, we do have frogs.
I'll tell you what, you take the high road, and I'll take the road to the telephone.
Good luck.
Well.
So what's happening? You're... what exactly?
That's a very good question.
So PJ's phoning the university. We're waiting to see what the outcome of that is before splitting up, I think.
And
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
right.
And Montrose was about to tell us about the amphibious population of
the amphibious population of the Helens. Well, I really don't have any more to add. I'm an expert in penny-weighing amphibians, and personally, didn't really spend a great deal of time looking for frogs when I was a girl.
But there is a
But I can
fascinating
confirm
mythology.
that we do have them in Scotland.
Good to know.
Are there any relation of the Selkies, the famous Selkies?
Well, they're not seen as cryptids. The Selkies are not real, in fact. Frogs, I believe, are. I'm not.
But who can really say?
Not aware of stories of mythical frogs, which guile and entice poor innocents into the water to be drowned. As I believe the Selkies may do should you happen to encounter one.
Meanwhile, on the telephone...
Yes, hello, operator. Could you put me through to the central office?
Operator.
Yes, hello. Could you put me through, please, to the central offices of Miskatonic University? It's Patrick Joseph Mahoney here, wishing to speak to somebody in charge of departmental records.
Miskatonic University.
At which point, outside, there is this distant rumble of thunder.
One moment, please.
Thank you.
Click, click.
A strange
click,
operator. Not particularly smooth, if you ask me.
Can you give me a listen roll while you hear the clicks going in and out of the switchboard?
Click, click, clickety, click.
Oh, that's quite a good roll. What's my listen? Yes, that is a success. I got 20 out of 35.
Fantastic. After a few seconds, you hear this click, and you hear it's sort of a heavier click, and you hear the Miskatonic University switchboard operator take over.
Hello, Miskatonic University switchboard.
But before that happens, just before he speaks, you think you hear something in the sort of crackling static momentarily, in the eerie sort of whistling silence. You could swear you hear a voice. Sounds familiar somehow, saying, they can't be trusted. Some of them aren't. Some of them aren't real. They're forgeries, for God's sake. They're fake. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. There's just so many of them. There's too many of them. And then you hear the...
Hello, Miskatonic University switchboard. What department do you require?
Yes, sorry, I think we had a crossed line there. Somebody seemed to be speaking. Is this a party line I'm on?
No.
Is that you, Marjorie?
Yes.
It's PJ Mahoney here, Marjorie.
Oh, PJ.
Hello, how are you? How's your boy?
Very well. I don't have time to small talk. Do you want the security department?
No, I'm looking for the central office. If you'd be so kind, please. The registration office.
One moment, please.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
I'm watching you,
Click,
Mike
click.
Wazowski. Always watch.
The sort of the silence comes in again, the sort of whistling static, and once again you think you hear something.
Do you say it sounded like a vaguely familiar voice? Can I make like an intelligence check or something to recognise it, maybe?
Yeah.
All those checks you don't necessarily want to do well.
Well, let's just see. Anything to progress the case.
Well, yes, quite.
That is... Yep. Just a no more. Yep. That's a successful intelligence check.
Well, as you hear it again, you hear this voice go,
In my house. I hid it all in my house. But they'll find it. And then it'll be too late.
and you realise it's the voice of Charles Leiter. Can you give me a sanity roll?
Of course I can. Yeah. What's my current sanity? And that's a fail.
Oh, okay.
It's a big old 92.
Oi. Lovely.
Well, you lose 2 sanity points.
Okay.
Jeez. What the hell? Leiter? Is that you?
Oh, I'm afraid Dr. Leiter passed away.
Hello there. Is that... I do beg your pardon. I think we had a crossed wire or something there. Is that the registration office?
Yes?
Hello, yes. It's Patrick Joseph Mahoney here. Yes, I work in the security department of the university. I was wondering if you could assist me with some information regarding a former student.
I suppose.
Oh, that's real nice of you. Real nice of you.
What does this concern?
This is to do with something that I'm looking into for Dean Fallon.
Okay.
He can verify that it is a legitimate request I'm making here.
Of course. And what is it you need assistance with?
There's a former student by the name of Cecil Hunter. I believe he may have been an art student, and I understand he was released from his studies some time ago. I'm just wondering if you could possibly furnish me with his current address, if you have it, or perhaps, if not, his previous address, and perhaps he has a roommate or somebody that might be able to assist me.
One moment, please.
That's good police.
Yeah. Some good policing.
There's a silence for a while. You can give me another listen roll if you want to, but it would require a hard success.
I'll give it a go.
Yes.
So we step further into madness.
Didn't make that one.
No, it's almost like you can just about hear him moving around. He's got a very heavy tread. This guy, really heavy.
Needs a good pair of orthopedic shoes.
Boom, 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 and then this rustling of paper. And after a few minutes, it takes a while. He comes back and says,
"Hello, are you still on the line?"
I'm still here. Yes, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mahoney, I've found their most recent and up-to-date details of Mr. Cecil Hunter that we have. I can't say that they're completely up-to-date because, as you say, he was expelled from the university some time ago. But the odd thing is that his currently listed legal guardian is Dr. Charles Leiter. And so his formal
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that again? His legal guardian was who? Did you say?
Dr. Charles Leiter, who passed away recently.
That's most perplexing.
And so his formal address that we have on record is Dr. Leiter's cottage on campus.
I see. I'm kind of assuming that I would possibly know where this cottage.
"Oh yeah, there's a little village of sort of academic cottages that are rented out to the staff, to faculty members.
And I understand. What is the most recent date you have on his residence there? Do you know?
Oh, this is this is me looking up in real time one moment.
Legal guardian. Lyda was his guardian. Nobody thought to mention that. Most peculiar. This is getting real curious.
I know this is... obviously, I can't do this because you're having this conversation. I'm not aware of it. But might you ask if whether that's particularly unusual for a student to have a... I mean, I assume it is. Any precedent for that sort of relationship?
Well, there's a chance that the Central Records Office wouldn't know that.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think that possibly the professors would.
It's more a question
more
for Alan. It sounds pretty unusual, isn't it?
Mm.
But I mean, I suppose there is always the kind of the ward element, and the fact that painting is in the room, and the fact that they're working so closely together is something.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility.
His legal guardian. That's a funny turn of phrase as well, isn't it? Because not his next of kin.
Perhaps we all need to roll our law, then we talk about it. But perhaps you could roll. I mean, perhaps he can roll his law.
I could certainly roll my law.
Should we do a listen check, Dom? Have we heard any of this?
Probably not. I imagine he's
We'll wait
way at the bar.
Tells us.
And you're all still talking about frogs.
I'll tell you all about it when I get back anyway. So.
Yes, I'm afraid that like I say, it's not the most up-to-date information. It's over a year old.
A year old, I see. But you say that...
shortly before he was expelled.
You say that Professor Lyda was Mr. Hunter's legal guardian. Is that correct? Yes. I have taken you correctly.
At the time this record was made, that is correct, yes.
Well, thank you very much. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Stephen,
thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed, Stephen. You've been extremely helpful. I'll be sure to pass on my gratitude to the dean when I see him.
you won't remember my name. No one ever does.
Of course I'll remember your name, David. Now, I'll... I'm only joking. Your name's Stephen. I'm very good with names. I have a number of grandchildren, and I remember all their names quite clearly. And we have Patrick Jr., we have Maureen, we have Joe Jr.
He's got a letter over to his wrists.
Hello. Hello, operator. I think we've been disconnected here. Could you put me back through again? TJ will kind of come back to the table with a little notebook in his hand, shaking his head and scratching his head with his pencil. That's very strange indeed. Dear.
TJ, did you learn anything?
Oh well, yes, I did. I did learn that Stephen, who is the young fellow who works at the administrative office's registration in the university. He's a strange fella. I think he might have a club foot or something. The way he walks about the office, I think he should possibly see some sort of a bone specialist about that. Very heavy tread. Very heavy tread. Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes. Now, no. Well, it turns out, and I'm not quite sure what to make of it. That well, according to the records, at least until a year ago, Cecil Hunter was the ward of Professor Leiter himself. Leiter was his legal guardian. I'm thinking perhaps Hunter was an orphan or some such.
Well, it's strange circumstance.
I wouldn't know about this in terms of the story. I mean, I work at the university, but I don't have any prior knowledge that there was some relationship between those two, or that this student lived on campus before he was expelled. I guess I never saw him, or...
Not necessarily, but you could... would you know anything about this?
I don't think I think it's fair to say I didn't, because I didn't recognise his name necessarily when we saw the painting.
Yeah.
I was just, do I have any knowledge of that being a precedent that's been set before, like students staying with? No. Okay.
No.
So it is an odd.
Perhaps it's just a situation where I don't know, Leiter is his uncle or a friend of the family. Perhaps the boy's an orphan, and
or that he fell on hard times. And I just invited Miss Stone back to our rooms, did I not, Dr. Duckworth?
I'm sure you did. That sounds very likely.
It is a sanctuary.
I'm not entirely sure that that's right and proper for a young lady to visit a single gentleman in his rooms in a university.
Me, I meant it in terms of being more safe under your protection. In fact,
Well, I dare say we could find her accommodation, but I think for a single young lady to be visiting a single young gentleman in his...
I did not mean like this, PJ. I meant as in, for an example... it is a place of sanctuary from the old tradition of the medieval times. The university was a place where, the wall was high. It is hard to...
So what was high?
Dom, while this conversation is going on, I just took the liberty of rolling...
I want to roll psychology as well.
I was rolling my psychology and I got a hard success, not an extreme success. I just wanted to see if PJ seemed considerably shaken after the phone call, if he was sort of... more off topic than usual, like...
It's very hard to tell with him, but yes. With an extreme success.
That sheen of sweat.
Yeah.
Is that sheen of sweat?
He does seem to be a little bit kind of discombobulated.
Was yours an extreme?
No, mine was hard, but it was a hard success, almost extreme.
What about your roll?
I think, especially since in my head still is... the eyes and the glasses and what I was just told in a previous conversation about seeing faces and mirrors and stuff. There's that still in the back of my mind, and I'd like to just sort of say, PJ, you didn't hear anything else, anything unexpected?
What do you mean unexpected?
I'm just. It may just be my imagination.
I mean, I think there was some kind of a crossed line and some interference on the phone call. But
I see.
I thought it sounded like I was catching somebody else's conversation while I was waiting to be put through. But no.
Was it your father?
My father? Did you know my father?
I don't think I did. I was just wondering if the voice sounded familiar or if...
well, well, I'll tell you the truth. I thought I did, but no, it can't be. No.
Sit down.
It's just my imagination. My ears, they ain't what they used to be. I'm not a young man,
If you want to talk,
it's these telephone devices, this technology. It's what you were saying. This technology. It's yes.
Can I do a psychology check on Duckworth?
Let's all do psychology checks on each other.
Yeah, I want to do a psychology on Duckworth because he's alarmed me here. He's gone somewhere
asking very pointed questions, isn't he?
And it got something, and it got a reaction. And although I could see that there was a discombobulation in PJ,
you spotted that, did you?
But only just. But yeah, I've got a hard success on Duckworth. So that first question he asked was about reality.
Yes, in a sense, I suppose. I mean, well, wait, which one?
Does he believe that there's something beyond reality?
Well, Dom, do you want to answer, or shall I?
You can answer.
Well, in my mind, it wasn't necessarily that. It's just that, like, I'm obviously aware of, like, auditory and visual hallucinations, and I think you were sort of confiding in me about visual hallucinations earlier, which got me thinking about that sort of thing. Obviously, I think it's fair to say, did you get a hard success? Or
hard, 25 on a 65.
I think it's fair to say, yes, you do also get the impression that he has encountered, well, he maybe believes in things that are beyond the pale for most people. You maybe get a flicker of, it's not just professional interest, like, psychologically, I think you might be hallucinating. It might be that some hallucinations are real. He seemed more invested in it.
There was a manic glint in his eye.
Yeah.
He asked, "Did you hear anything else?"
The glint in the milkman's eye. That's what you saw.
May I, if it's all right, do a law roll to see whether I can think of possible reasons why a young man, not a child, a young man might have a legal guardian. And why that might be a professor at university. So precedent for that, or like all the different possibilities why that might have come about. My law's not great, but it's all right. Oh, I'm 1 over. I'm going to spend that point of luck.
Spend luck.
It occurs to you that perhaps the only sort of logical thing that comes up is that perhaps he was struggling to pay for his tuition or something like that, maybe, and
just a
so there was some sort of legal guardianship, a charitable gesture, or it was an act of intervention. That it's like Leiter took charge of him as a kind of like for his own safety. Those are the only 2 scenarios that probably spring to mind.
Could be a I don't know, a troubled young gentleman who perhaps would be better served by having somebody with him to kind of keep an eye on him.
Would you know if this young man had any family to speak of? It would suggest not. If a member of staff at the university was taking charge in such a way, if he ran into trouble to that extent, I would have thought an aunt or uncle might take this role. And one would assume the boy is on his own.
Well, that's why I'm thinking maybe he's an orphan, or maybe his maybe his family's other side of the country or something.
Indeed. Do you know if he's a local boy at all? Does he come from the Arkham area, or did he come from elsewhere to study?
I don't know the boy. No idea.
I never saw him myself. We have a lot of students come through here, but it would be interesting to find out. Useful.
Listen, my reservations about setting foot on campus notwithstanding, I'm now really interested in getting inside Dr. Leiter's cottage.
Well, yes.
And whether there's any evidence of this Cecil Hunter kid.
I think that that might be the place to find it if there's any paperwork regarding his guardianship or whatnot.
Might be able to see how recently he was there.
Yes. And if he still has access.
So, where do you want to go?
We're going cottaging.
Yes, I believe we are.
I want to go cottaging.
Do you think it's still wise to focus on the one area together? Perhaps it occurred to me that maybe if the 2 of you, Mr. Sleep and Mr. Mahoney, were to take Dr. Montrose, because I think Dr. Montrose, don't you have a reading list to catch up with?
Well, I do have a reading list. How useful it would be in the time frame we have, I'm not so sure. I'm annoyed I've not heard of these documents in my travels. I really am. I wonder if going to see Wick and speaking with him without delay maybe a better use of my time rather than a little like breaking and entering. I leave that to you, Mr. Sleep. All of your cause, of course, but perhaps, yes, if I go and see Wick, someone else wants to come with me.
No, it's you have given me pause for thought there, because you speak of breaking and entering. Are you speaking of the professor's cottage?
Well,
because I believe we could get the keys to his cottage from the dean.
I suppose it is university property, so I perhaps misspoke, perhaps a little melodramatically. Sure, you could get key and make it all legitimate, as it were.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes. Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure the dean would be more than happy to assist us with this, bearing in mind his keenness to retrieve the papers.
Well, if we're thinking of splitting the group, as it were, I certainly would like to accompany Mr. Sleep here. I believe we found some useful chemistry in our last outing. I mean, obviously, I just don't want him to kill anyone.
Exactly.
You talk a bit on the ledge.
That's true. He has psychoanalyzed me, I think.
Yeah. I did start narrating your inner monologue at one point, and that worked, so maybe I could try that.
Where is the sherry trifle? The unconsidered trifles. Where is it in town? I'm not so...
It's sort of near the edge of the middle of town, so it's not far from the Hibbs Roadhouse.
Potentially we stop in on the way and then we go back to the cottage.
Dr. Professor, what's a... well, yeah, are we all travelling together, or shall we go and speak to Mr. Abnerwick, or...
Well, if it's on the way back, then perhaps a couple of us can pop in and see comes of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would be very happy to accompany you.
This morning, I like to work alone, but it's been made abundantly clear to me that that's going to be impossible on this job. However, I get the feeling that 5 of us bundling into this cottage, if the Cecil Hunter fella is there, hiding under a bed or in a closet, the fewer the better in terms of not disturbing him.
It may psychologically freak his nut out.
I will accompany Dr. Montrose to the Abnerwick shop.
You and I, Dalton. I don't know, Mr. Mahoney. Just in the off chance there was any bother there, perhaps you would come with her.
Yes.
Dalton and I, the 3 of us, shall go and see Rick, we shall leave you two to investigate Dr. Leiter's pocket and then reconvene, perhaps.
Seems agreeable. Reconvene at the inconsiderate Pavlova. Oh, no.
I'm not familiar with that place. Does it do good, Pavlovas?
The unspoken trifle.
I think, or perhaps meet up at Leiter's cottage. I imagine there might be stuff for everyone to look at, but I'm just suggesting the first entry might not want to be 5 people. So by the time you meet us there, hopefully.
Me and you sleep.
I suspect strongly that we go and see Mr. Abnerwick, and he either doesn't tell us anything, and we have to merely surmise through his attitude and behaviour what we believe to be the case, and perhaps a little judicious inspection of the wares of the shop.
Don't be afraid to rough him up a little. I know guys like this Abnerwick. I know I haven't met him, but the sound of his name, don't be afraid to rough him up a little.
Well, we'll play it. We'll play it nice and easy to start. And see where it takes us. It may be that we exert a little pressure on him, and he'll spill the beans, so to speak.
Right.
Shake the biscuit tin. Yeah?
A little gentle pressure in the right places can do wonders. Yeah. And but either way, I don't anticipate us being there for very long. So I think it's probably easiest if we join you up at the cottage, and we can compare notes there.
Are you actually wearing a uniform as well, PJ Mahoney?
Well, it's sort of a uniform. You might call it a uniform. It's more a kind of a pair of work jeans and jacket and a kind of a khaki shirt.
Yeah. So I imagine him in one of those sort of French chalk coat kind of things, like a blue chalk coat with maybe a badge.
Yeah.
So potentially the badge is something you can take off, and then you look like a regular Joe.
I've got another jacket. But I'll have to go back to the house to get it.
Mahoney.
Does
PJ stand for pair of jackets?
Pair of jackets, Mahoney. That's what it's for. It's my Sunday jacket. I wear it when I go to church.
So to clarify, Sleep and Duckworth are going to the cottage.
Yeah.
And the rest of you are going to Unconsidered Trifles.
I don't want to go meta, but is that enough people going to the cottage? It is.
Yeah.
Duckworth can handle himself.
As far as we're concerned. But I mean, Duckworth doesn't have a face or a gun.
I think initially it is. I suspect that you will all end up meeting us there.
I think Joseph, you might be in the same place as me, which is I'm remembering on a previous campaign going into rooms full of paintings and suddenly realising that things are a lot more dangerous than
I think I know what campaign you're talking about.
Yeah.
And oh boy, yes.
The old fears come crawling back.
Yeah.
But it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, it might not be a bad idea when you're in the cottage just to have a little have a little snoop about, see what you can see. I got a funny feeling about it. I got a funny feeling that some of the papers might be hidden there somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mahoney. Thank you for
Got instinct,
really useful instruction. I wouldn't have thought to have a snoop around. I appreciate that. He rolls his eyes so high.
You being sarcastic, Sleep.
But in all seriousness, I might add in, be careful about the mirrors.
Mirrors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
They might be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
What's with the mirrors? What do you mean mirrors? What?
It's just a hunch of mine.
There are some expensive mirrors. I think it's a German thing. I sort of take out my notebook and write down another little note.
I nod, somewhat nervously, and then gather my belongings and offer my arm to Dr. Montrose.
Come then.
And off you go.
To the trifle.
Out.
Lovely.
And so you step out into the hard, cold Arkham rain.